We'll call this public planning meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? So if so, please declare it now. I see no interest. So I'll read the preamble. Personal information collected at this public hearing is collected under the authority of the Planning Act and will be used to assist in making a decision on this matter. All names, addresses, opinions, and comments are collected and form part of the minutes which are available to the public. Questions regarding this collection should be forwarded to the Director of Planning. The purpose of public meetings is to present planning applications in a public forum as required by the Planning Act. Following presentations by applicant or staff, council members will have an opportunity to ask questions for clarification or further information. The meeting will then be open to the public for comments and questions. When you speak, please provide your name and address for recording in the minutes. All comments should be directed to myself, the chair of the meeting. The applicant will be provided the opportunity to address the public questions once all members of the public have made their submissions. For the applications being presented tonight, there is one that is coming to council or to committee of the whole following this meeting, and the other one will be coming at a later date. Following the council decision notice, it will be circulated in accordance with the Planning Act. If a person or public body would have the ability to appeal the decision of council to the Ontario Land Tribunal, but the person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the township before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision. So we'll move forward with our first item on the agenda, which is 3.1 D14-2023-004 Lansdowne Concession 10 Part Lots 23 and 24 Charleston Lake, roll number 08-12-816-025-08500-40. So, Madam Planner, would you like to speak to this?
This is an application for zoning now I'm on. It's an application for zoning bylaw amendment to rezone two parcels of land that have recently been subject to applications for lot additions. So in front of you on the screen, the area outlined in blue is the overall land holding. The application for zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the areas shown in red, which are intended to be lot additions to an adjacent property. So I'm just going to show a different schedule. This image is the survey. So this parcel is intended to be added to this property, and this parcel is intended to be added to this property shown as parcel B. Notice for this meeting was provided in accordance with the Planning Act. So notice was mailed out to all landowners within 120 meters of the property. There was an inquiry received in the office for clarification regarding the application. Aside from that, no other public input has been received. This is the application that is on the agenda this evening for council's consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Questions from council for the planner? Go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to the planner. A couple questions. Is the water lot that is going to be attached to help with a building or structure to be built on it, or access to the property? And does it actually affect access now that is to other properties in the adjacent area? Thank you.
So through you, Your Worship, in terms of the lot additions, so the areas of lands to be added, I forgot to mention in my summary, they're currently zoned rural and they're proposed to be zoned to shoreline residential, which is the same lot as the properties themselves. The properties to be added to, sorry, I'm trying to get in, zoom in to see if they are developed. The intent is to make the lot, give the lots greater area to provide some more flexibility should there be any redevelopment proposed in the future. I'm not certain, looking at the air photo at this time, if the lots do have cottages on them or not.
Go ahead, your second question.
Yeah, the second question was about access to other properties and whether the change of the zoning affects the right of way for others.
That's correct. Sorry, I apologize for missing that question. We have asked the applicant to confirm through their lawyer with a legal opinion whether that all access will be maintained. The intent is not to modify any access whatsoever. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the air photo right now as well, and I can confirm, looking in detail at the properties, that they are developed, the ones to be added to. So the existing accesses should not be affected by the change in title of the properties.
Further comments or questions for the planner? I see no hands up. Any questions from the public or comments from the public? I see none. Okay, so we'll move forward with the next item on the agenda, which is 3.2 D14-2023-005 327 Taylor Road West. And we will ask the planner to do a preamble, and then we'll move on to the consultant.
Thank you, through you. This application for zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone a property to reduce the setbacks from sand and gravel resources to allow the construction of a secondary residential unit on the property. Notice for this evening's meeting was provided in accordance with the Planning Act. There has been no notification or no comments received in response to the notification, and I would pass it to the consultant to provide you with an overview.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, committee. My name's Emma Stuckey. I'm a planner at Arcadis, formerly IBI Group. All right. So again, my name is Emma Stuckey. I'm a planner at Arcadis. We are here requesting approval of a zoning bylaw amendment to reduce the required separation distance to land zone for mineral resource aggregates in the zoning bylaw in order to permit a detached second residential unit on the property. The subject property is located at 327 Taylor Road West, has a lot area of 1.5 hectares with 59 meters of frontage on Taylor Road West and a depth of approximately 261 meters. There's an existing single detached dwelling and garage, which are set back approximately 50 meters from the road. And the existing house is accessed by a gravel driveway at the east of the property. Here is a screenshot of street view showing the existing dwelling, as well as an overview of the site. So the site is located in proximity to lands designated for mineral resource aggregates. This site shows there are some active pits in the area. However, as you can see, it's quite small. If I can make this bigger. There we go. So there are existing residential uses in the area. There's an existing residential dwelling on the subject property on the lands to the east and lands to the west that are farther from the existing development. To give some context, as part of our overview, we assessed the minimum separation distance of 300 meters from existing dwellings to confirm if there was a developable area on the property that wouldn't further increase this 300-meter setback. So that's shown on the second photo with the existing houses shown in orange triangles with circles around them, and did confirm that there is a developable area on the site that wouldn't increase the 300-meter setbacks from existing dwellings. So the proposal is to construct a detached second residential unit, approximately 25 feet by 26 feet. It's proposed to be located in the front portion of the property. And again, this location was proposed to maximize distances from adjacent mineral resource zones. Access will be provided from the existing gravel driveway. And this is a rendering, conceptual rendering of what is proposed on the site. So overall, the proposal is consistent with the intent of the 2020 PPS, as the proposed use is permitted in the rural area. Second residential uses are permitted. The proposed development is compatible with the rural landscape, and no new public service infrastructure is needed to support the development. And as demonstrated through our mapping exercise, mineral aggregate resources will be protected from incompatible development because this proposed second detached unit is not going to be any closer to existing pits or land zone for mineral aggregates beyond what currently exists. Development is outside of areas of natural hazard and no negative impacts are anticipated to public health or safety. So the property is zoned rural in the township's official plan. So detached second residential uses are permitted in the rural area. Again, the development is compatible with the rural landscape. No new infrastructure is needed. Development is outside of natural hazard areas and mineral resources will be protected. So overall, the proposal conforms to the OP. Going into the zoning, so the existing property is zoned rural. You can see it's outlined with blue dashes here. It is within 300 meters of a mineral resource quarry zone and within 300 meters of a mineral resource aggregate zone. We're proposing to place the property in a site-specific rural zone to address reduced setbacks from the aggregate resources. So proposing to reduce the separation distance from land zoned MRQ1, and that's the property to the east, down to 12.5 meters. This is consistent with the existing side yard setback of the existing house, and are proposing to reduce the required separation distance from land zoned mineral resource aggregate from 300 to 220. And that's the lands in the back. It is within the proposed detached unit is over 300 meters from these land zoned for mineral resource pit. And again, here's a larger image of the mapping exercise we completed to confirm that the proposed detached second residential unit wouldn't have any negative impacts on existing pits and wouldn't be any closer than what exists. So there is an identified developable area on the property that's no closer to mineral resource zones than the existing dwellings. And that's shown in blue, the blue highlight. So it's generally the lands in front of the existing house. And the rural zone permits second residential units. So these are permitted in the zone. There's existing dwellings located closer to identified mineral resource zones in the area. The location of the proposed second unit will not further hinder extraction beyond the existing residential development that exists. And there's adequate lot area for the proposed development to comply with all other provisions of the rural zone and general provisions in the bylaw. So based on this, we believe it's our professional opinion that the requested amendment is appropriate as it's consistent with the PPS, conforms to the official plan, is compatible with surrounding land uses, and overall represents good planning and is in the public interest. Thank you. Welcome any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from council? Go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you. So a couple questions. First off is, I believe this needs its own well and septic system in place. The well isn't being used from the existing house is what I guess I'm asking there.
Yes, through your worship, the proposed second residential unit will have to meet all the servicing requirements. There's adequate layout area, and that'll be confirmed through the building permit process where the well and septic end up going.
Okay. And then my second question might be for Director of Planning is, how does this fit with the current Bill 23 proposal or act?
So Bill 23 allows as of right within municipal serviced areas. So on water, and municipal sanitary up to 3 residential units. We did amendments to our zoning bylaw and official plan a couple of years ago to allow second residential units in the rural area subject to compliance with zoning standards. So the reason that this lot needs the zoning amendment is because it doesn't comply with all of the provisions, but the additional residential unit is in line with the additional residential unit policies of the province.
Any further comments or questions from the council? Go ahead, Councillor Fody.
Thank you, Worship, through you to our Director of Planning, I suppose, or our presenter. This proposal is moving the perimeter of that circumference how far into what is now MR 20? Did I hear you say 20 feet? Or was that a mishear here on my part?
I'll just confirm the. So the proposed location of the second residential unit, the intention, we identified an area that wouldn't increase the 300-meter setbacks from existing houses. So there is some flexibility here in that generally the front portion of the property isn't going to be extending the 300-meter buffer any closer to the mineral resource aggregates zones, the MRQ and the MRA zone. In terms of the specific request, just given that the existing property immediately east, this one here, it is zoned entirely MRQ. So the setback currently to the property is 0 meters and are looking to the requirements for 300. And that's why we're seeking relief, because it's directly adjacent. So we're looking to reduce to 12.5 meters. And that's consistent with the side yard setback of the existing house. So it's still keeping the area of where the proposed second unit could go no closer to the land zone for MRQ compared to the existing house.
Follow up, if I may. Maybe our director of planning could answer this one. Where do we stand as a municipality to okay something like this and then have an applicant's well not produce or not be able to maintain water? The closer you get to an aggregate pit, there's always a possibility you've lost your water source. All I'm thinking is out loud here is
Yeah.
if we approve something like this and we're say you're okay to build there, and then they find out that water isn't available.
The permission to have 2 units on this property is already in the zoning bylaw.
Right.
The rural zone allows for a semi-detached dwelling. So this is also allowing for the second unit to not be attached to the main unit. Servicing needs to be confirmed through the building permit process. So
They could use the original well if they wish.
yes, if it has
Right.
enough yield, absolutely.
Okay. Because in essence, we have a tiny home here, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, any further comments or questions from council? I see none. Any comments from the public? I see no hands up in the public and there's no hands up online. Okay, so we will move forward in the agenda. And the next item is adjournment. So the motion comes forward from Councillor Jameson. Is there, oh, did I miss one? Sorry. Oh, I was just gonna say it's the same one we just talked about, the 370 Taylor Road West. So, no, I didn't miss anything this time. So the next motion is for adjournment, comes forward from Councillor Jameson, second by Councillor Maybe, that the public meeting adjourn. All those in favor? All those opposed? It's carried. Thank you, everyone.